Okay, that's all of that. See if we can store whatever we can. Okay, so now we've got 4 in that one, 7 in that one, and 1 in that one. EVA report, 40 signs, surface sample, 150 signs. Store them 2 in there as well. Kerbal from GamesPlant downloading. Frosty Forza. Nice. You'll enjoy it. I know you will. Just, you know, understand the learning curve is a bit steep, so give yourself time. Okay, should be far enough away. Once we have these set up, they'll basically beam signs back slowly to Kerbin. So we just get free signs over time. Actually, there's a snooker tournament coming up. Is it this week? Next week. There's a snooker tournament coming up on ITV4, I think. And then the World Championships start in about 3 weeks' time, 3-4 weeks' time. World Snooker Championships. They're actually going to have people in the audience, which is amazing. A glimmer of normality. Kerbal learning curve, 90-degree lift off. Pretty much. Let's hope there's not too much coffee. Well, you know, in the days of Corona, if there's any coughing in the audience, you'll probably be asked to leave and have a temperature check. Did you ever get into darts? I had a dartboard. Me and my friend had a dartboard. We never took it seriously. It was just for fun. But playing darts is... I got a lot better at mental arithmetic because of playing darts as a teenager. It's amazing. My friend's still to this day better at it. But, you know, we played a lot of darts together, and it's amazing what it does for your mental arithmetic. Because one of you is obviously, you know, throwing and the other one's scoring. And you have to quickly be able to look at the dartboard and add up what they just got, write it down, and then deduct it to keep the flow of the game going. So you just get better at it. He was good at snooker, average 74 breaks. John the services, end up playing pool. That ruined your snooker. You played Ray Reardon? Nice, bro. Yeah, 74 average breaks. You're pretty good. Like, you'd have probably beaten most of the local people in the area with that kind of break. Snooker's the only sport where you want the favourite to win. Huh? Right, I need to jump back in the craft and move some more stuff down. Should be all the cargo. NHS, thank you for 15 months. You'll be free in 2 weeks' time. All right, stay safe. When you watch sport, you want the underdog most of the time, but with snooker, it's pretty much want Ronnie to win. Well, now you see, if you look at the way John Higgins has been playing recently, like he's just been ruffle stomping people. And as we get to the World Championships, I don't think Ronnie's favourite. I used to be a big fan of Jimmy, but he never won the World Championship. It was always a case of, this is his year. Oh no, it's not. This year he'll finish. He's in the semis. This year he'll win. No, he's not. Vaz GIJ29, thank you for 8 months. Ray lives in Brixton. Is he still alive, Mickey? Is he still alive, Ray Reardon? He is a nice guy. You can tell he's a nice guy. It's amazing. You played competitive darts years ago, won some matches and drank a lot of beer. You see, that's the thing, like, and this is another thing. Snooker has changed over the years. Like, snooker, most of the players used to have a drink with them, an alcoholic drink. And obviously you had people like Bill Werbenick. He would just down pint after pint after pint while playing snooker. And a lot of the players had a drink. But then now, all the modern players, it's all like sparkling water. Like, nobody drinks alcohol and plays snooker anymore. At least not competitively. But darts and alcohol will just hand in hand. I mean, darts is a pub game, basically. Which, it always amazed me about darts, is the fact that they give these sharp, pointy arrows to people who are downing too much alcohol, and then expect nothing bad to happen. It's such a strange game when you think about it. Like, we're in this place, this public house, where people are getting intoxicated, and what do? We give them sharp throwing objects. Okay. He is still going, Beaker. Oh, that's amazing. That guy's he must be in his 90s. It's extraordinary. Just have a parachute lying around somewhere. I'm sure he won't need it, but you know. Better to have it. No, you're going to do it once on a planet, Baz. You can't do it in every location, unfortunately. Right, our work here is done. Time to get a load of science back to Kerbin. You want a few bets? Usually a beer because I'm not a gambler. Yeah, I've played pool. I've played snooker tournaments where it's like, you know, a $5 to enter or something, and I've played pool games. Quite often, you put your money on a table with pool. You put like some money on a table that signifies you're next to go, and then you play, winner stays on. So if you're really good, other people are playing for the game constantly, and you just stay on the table until you get beat. There's like an incentive to be good, which I quite like about it. Mr. Vintori, thank you for 40 months. Happy spring. Right, where are you? We're here. We want to go back there. Should do it. Last time we were on the moon, we didn't have enough solar panels. Are you going to continue with those experiments, Miko? Not in this mission. This mission's going to be to get enough signs for rover wheels. We should have enough signs beaming back now anyway. Like, we've got one here. And we've now got, like, 2 there. Won't lampstand. Why does it say that? Oh, I didn't put the flag down. Gotta put a flag down. Otherwise we don't know what this place is. Tessor, thank you for 28 months. This is the lesser flats, isn't it? Plant flag. Minimus, lesser, flat signs. Cool. On the control mod, you can also rename what the station. Oh, can you? I didn't know that. I didn't know you could do that. When I finish landing on things. God, it's so tedious to walk around. How do you, oh, there you go. Rename vessel. Huh. Good to know. Okay, he can jump real high on Minimus. Why not gamer? I missed your question, whatever it was. Board. Right. Need to take off and somehow head east. You can change the mission flag when you're in the pod. Are there any planets like triple gravity of Kerbal? Well, Eve, if you go to Eve, that's like the end boss of Kerbal. Eve's gravity and atmosphere is just incredibly difficult to deal with. Chatterbot asked me, what do you think of the scene in Ted Lasso? Oh, okay. The Jewel has a lot of gravity. That's not a lot, ED. Right, let's save that. Let's get out of here. Oh, we're heading the wrong way. It's other way. Got 1,000 Delta V to get back with. I just wasted a bunch going the wrong way. Tylo has Kerbal's gravity but no atmosphere, so it's harder to land. Yeah, that would be a challenge. Okay, let's escape, then figure it out. Duna has ghosts. Right, we've officially left the sphere of influence. 7,200 delta V. That sounds like a big rip. $7,200 delta V? You having a giraffe? Have I come out wrong or something? How you doing, Dr. Introvertius? It's like 181 delta V just to go by the moon. I mean, there's a 261 delta V right there. What's the delta in relation to? What do you mean? Delta V, changing velocity. If you've got a vehicle and you need it to go somewhere else, you need to change its velocity. And that's a measure of how much... you can't really measure it in fuel. You measure it as changing velocity. 14k above. Well, that's 11. It's 45. Like tiny changes here. Massive difference. And it just smashed all the way through the maneuver node. Thanks, game. Oh my god. Alright, it's doing it anyway. No, a delta V of 0 doesn't mean you're in a stable orbit at all. Let's say you're in space and you're hurtling along at 1,000 meters per second, right? If you want to reduce that down so that you're not going as quickly, let's say you're 1,000 meters per second in a straight line, and you want to slow down by 500 meters per second. What you need to do is point the opposite direction and change your velocity by 500 meters per second. So you need to apply some thrust, some force to slow you down. Now it depends what engine you're using, right? How long it takes, how much fuel you burn, all these things. But you need to change your speed, your velocity by 500 meters per second. That's 500 delta V. So to slow down from 1,000 to 500, you need 500 delta V of change. Like having 0 delta V basically means you have no fuel or no engine. Like you have no way of changing your velocity. Yeah, well, let's not get into that one, Dan. People think of gravity as a force because it feels like a force, but it's not that simple. But focus on delta V, right? You can be in space and you think you're not moving, but actually you're flying really, really quickly. Yeah? Because like nothing seems to be moving, so you think, oh, I'm not moving. But you might be moving 10,000 k an hour. You just don't know. Because you can't see stuff moving past you, because time, like speed is relative. If you're in a car doing like 50 kilometers per hour and another car comes along at 60 kilometers per hour, you look at that car and it's going past you really slowly because your speed relative to his is like a 10k difference. But actually both of you are flying down the motorway. So to somebody standing by the roadside, both of you are like, phoom. So like the whole of speed is completely relative to your observation point. You like metric units for speed on an motorway? Well, that's good. What's that? A 20k periamps? That'll do. It's going to send us in a bit hot, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine. So the delta V, what you have to apply to achieve something, is not the current state of the vehicle. The delta V is directly related to your vehicle because it's what you want to do. Like you and your vehicle, you want to change the speed and direction of the vehicle. That is delta V. That the difference between the direction you're going and the speed you're going is your velocity, right? Because velocity is both a speed and a direction. Speed has no direction, but velocity is a speed and a direction. So you're going in that direction at that speed, and you want to be going in that direction at that speed. To do that, there's a difference in velocity. That is delta V. The difference in the velocity of what you're doing now versus what you want to be doing. No, it's not, Gore. It's nothing to do with the engine. Like how you achieve the change in delta V is a different story. It doesn't matter what engine you're using necessarily. If you have an ion engine, let's say you have an ion, like a really weak ion engine, you can still change your velocity by like 100 delta V. But it might take you 6 days because that engine is really weak. But if you have a powerful rocket, you could change 100 meters per second in 10 seconds. So the engines that you have and the fuel that you have, together, you can calculate how much delta V you could affect on your vehicle. But delta V is still delta V. Like changing your velocity of your vehicle is never going to change. It's just the engines and the fuel that you have affects how quickly you can do it. Think of it that way. Or how efficiently you can do it. Because some engines are more efficient than others. I mean, you could sit there with your solar panels out, gathering solar energy for like 6 months, and then use that with xenon gas and use an ion engine, right? But it's very efficient in terms of you could do that for millennia, possibly. But you'd be dead before you change your delta V enough. It's kind of hard to explain. I'm trying. Jamer, thank you for 14 months. And like, there's many other factors. You know, there's which we could talk about. Atmosphere for one, or gravity as another. You can change your delta V by getting close enough to a body like a planet or a moon, and use its gravitational force to change your velocity. If you fly by the Earth like this, look at what's happening here. If I have no fuel left right now, right? If I have 0 fuel left, I can't change my velocity in any way. But look what's happening to the velocity of my rocket. Yeah? It's being pulled on, effectively. The gravitational force here, or rather the change in space-time here, is actually changing my vehicle. And I'm not doing anything. I'm not applying any thrust. You can use that to your advantage, and they often do. They'll use what's called a gravity assist, where if they want to get to some really far away place, right? Some really far away place, like Dres, they'll try and time it so they can go past another body and get a gravity assist. It's like an acceleration. You get a change in velocity for free if you fly in the right place. Dress doesn't exist. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The physics of it doesn't change. When you want to go somewhere else, if I want to go towards the sun, right, and I'm going this way, I need to somehow change my delta. I need to change my delta V because I need to point that way. Anyway. Hopefully that's made you more confused. But you see, what's going to happen now is I'm going to fly close to the planet of Kerbin. I'm not just going to go around because this doesn't take into account the atmosphere. When I fly through the atmosphere, I will have a braking effect. It will slow me down, and so my orbit will completely change. This here will come in because this is going to slow me down. Fancy Pants, thank you very much for subbing. Welcome. I can say thank you. I can almost feel like there's some people watching right now who are sitting there. All right, Mrs. Squirrel, keep your ears open. Yeah, shut the door. No, open the door. Shut the door. Like, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? Just brought me a cup of tea, and on her way out, she left the door open like that. I was like, yeah, you're listening. I can almost feel like there's some people... Oi! You scruff. You scruff. She snuck back in and shut the door like she'd left. I was going to say, it's almost like there's some people in the audience going, I think I get that. I'm just not sure. Is only the assumption that there was an existing Delta V for the vehicle? No. Everything in space is moving. Like, everything in space is moving. But what you measure against tells you your relative velocity. So, my velocity relative to this planet is different to my velocity relative to that star. Yeah? This is what I was saying about the cars on the motorway again. My speed in a car relative to the Earth is different to my speed in a car relative to the car going past me. They're different things. Not everything in space is moving. It is. Everything in space is moving because the whole of the universe is slowly doing this. So everything is flying outwards right now. Even if it's like apparently not moving, because if you look at it, it's moving it's still moving. And then if you go down to the atomic level, everything is moving because everything's above absolute zero. So everything is moving. In some way, it is moving. It is jiggling. It is flying. Whatever. It's moving. And then there's some debate about whether it's going to keep going or do this or whatever. That's a whole different world. You're moving up. Hang on, I need to focus on not dying. What have you done to me? Oh god, I'm so dead. Right, hang on. Separate. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, we're not slinging shotting around this planet. We're going straight in hot, I think. You see how our orbit's coming right down? Look at that. You can literally see what happens when the atmosphere slows you down. Your return back out will not take you as far. That's what happens. What's happening now is our velocity is being changed. We are slowing down. You can see it here. Our orbital velocity here is slowing down a lot. So our orbital speed is like nearly 2,000 meters per second. Our speed relative to the surface is 1,500. But they're both coming down because the atmosphere is braking. So we won't be returning back out again, look. Now, if this was the moon, we would have just flown straight past. And we'd still be in a perfect orbit because there's no atmosphere. There's nothing to slow us down. There's no friction. Did you accidentally stumble across the science lesson? Well, somebody was asking about delta V and we spiraled. I can't even see I can't see the thing right now. We have no electric charge left. That's not good. Should have charged the batteries on the way in. KSP is a science lesson in a video game. Pretty much. Let's play an RPG and discuss Delta V. Now what we should do is we should have a game of snooker. I'll play snooker against Pups and we'll discuss Delta V with him. That's what we should do. Deploy shoot. See, some of you thought I'm probably applying that a bit late, but that was a suicide parachute burn. Right there. Why is the sky blue? Are you for real?
Why is the sky blue?
It's to do with the way light is scattered. This frequency of light and the way it's scattered. Like, it's something to do with when the pure white light hits I think it's the nitrogen and the oxygen, the way it reacts with them. Some of the more of the red spectrum is like reflected away, and what we see is more of the blue spectrum, hence why it looks blue. Which is what happens is in a full white light you have the whole spectrum of light, everything from like red all the way up to blue, everything in between. But when it reacts with the atmosphere, the light is pushed that way more. So the reflection back that we see is more blue. What do you mean it's only blue because of our eyes? Well, we don't see most of the spectrum anyway. If like the spectrum of light is that wide, we see like a tiny, tiny sliver of it. That's a question. If radio scattering makes the sky bluish, why doesn't it make the sky purplish? There was a video about that. I remember seeing a video about that. Saying that, you know, the sky could actually be a purple, but I think our eyes make it look blue. I think in reality, it is actually more purple. Lol, Jimbo. Right, what do we get? 978 science. Get in. Oh, yeah. Almost 1,000 signs from that trip. Woo! Save game. Right. Minmus done. So now we can go and unlock some fun wheels. Is it this one? No, it's never that one. There's the same icon near enough. It's that one we want. The rugged vehicular wheel, 550 science. You can't see purple because you're colorblind. Colorblind doesn't mean you can't see color though, does it? It just means that you can't distinguish some colors. I know that you can get really severe color blindness, but the most common one is the red-green one, isn't it? But there are others. When's the trip to Duna? I don't know, dude. It's further down the line. Nope, still haven't fixed the station. That's still a mission to be done. When we take the rover to the moon, that's when the station's going to get fixed, because I'll have an engineer on board. Some people don't see colors at all. Okay, so this is the mining vehicle that we was playing with yesterday. That we couldn't, where's the wheels? There we go. Now we've got some big chunky wheels. Hopefully these can deal with the weight a bit better. The ruggedized vehicular wheel. Stress tolerance 900. What did we have before? That one. 560. Does it still blow up? I don't know. It definitely looks a lot more rugged. I'll give it that. See, we went all the way to Minmas just so that we could change wheels. Right, let's spawn that in and see if it dies in a horrible fireball again. Let's make sure they're relatively level. There we go. Save, launch. Well, we've got to bear in mind this is Kerbin's gravity. The moon gravity won't be as bad, but... Okay, it didn't die in a fireball, but it is kind of freaking out, look. It's to do with that piston, I think. It just doesn't like that piston. Even though that's like an industrial strength piston. I can't even click on it. It won't stand still for long enough. That's just a whole world of glitch, isn't it? We're going to have some other way of adjusting the height of this thing. Can you add an additional piston? Well, we can, but it's kind of adding more weight. That's the problem. I'm sure that was the big piston. Hydraulic cylinder. Oh, that's the 1P2. Actually, there's a bigger one. The bigger one's massive. Look at this. This is... Like, how much does this weigh? Half a ton of piston. So, like, 4 of those is basically 2 tons. How big was that wheel? That's 0.1 of a ton. So that weighs a quarter of what that big piston weighs. Just so that we can affect a height change. I know the wheels have suspension, but I don't know if you can adjust the height of the ride. Like, what I'm thinking is, the reason I'm doing this is because whatever vehicle lands to be refueled, this has to connect with it. And so if the height difference isn't quite right, I wanted the vehicle to be able to change its height so that it could adapt to different like heights of docking port. You see what I mean? Use a claw instead of a docking port. Is that under robotics? What do you mean a claw? Nothing. I can't search. What's it? Maybe I don't have claw unlocked. I've just searched for claw and I can't find anything. So maybe that's a different tech. I did wonder that, Jazz. Like if I could perhaps use some kind of robotic arm. An ideal solution would be I could have a connector on an arm that I could move. You know? But I don't know if fuel would transfer down that arm. Advanced grabbing unit. No. Can't find anything in the word grab either. Maybe it's some kind of advanced robotic thing. Automation. What's it called? Grab. Actuators. Advanced grabbing unit. The hinge. The winch. Rotation servos. Another hinge. Telescopic hydraulic cylinder. That weighs even more than the other one. Usually when you want to improve a part, the first thing that any self-respecting Kerbal engineer thinks of is making it bigger and adding more power. Rarely that's not the ideal solution. Thus was born the AGU Junior. Instead of making a bigger claw, Kerbal Motion has designed a smaller one. When you need a small helping hand to latch onto something in those hard-to-reach places. No fuel crossfeed, it says in orange letters. No fuel crossfeed. So that isn't going to work. If we're trying to build a fuel transfer vehicle, that isn't going to work. Well, Amasekia, this vehicle effectively is the transfer vehicle. It's both the miner and the transfer. The claw can dock to anything. Plus it allows fuel transfer. Wait, what? That literally says it doesn't. That literally says it doesn't do it. Flexible docking port was there. One part to the right. I don't know which part you mean. No fuel crossfeed applies to heat shields, but you can transfer fuel manually past them. I don't understand, Blasty. It says that it doesn't crossfeed fuel. Well, that's a hinge, Blizzard. Fuel transfer and crossfeed are different. Okay, so in what way are they different then? Shimada, in what way are they different? I need to learn that. Crossfeed is only for in-flight. Ah. Transferring fuel from the tanks to the engine while in flight. See, I thought crossfeed was when you send fuel from one tank to another. So you've got fueling, which is transferring fuel from a tank to the engine. And then you've got crossfeed is where you take fuel from a tank to a tank. So you move it between the tanks. That's what I thought crossfeed was. So when it says no fuel crossfeed, if I've got a tank on the miner and then a tank on the thing I'm trying to transfer fuel into, I assumed it wouldn't let me because it says no crossfeed. If you right click on two fuel tanks, you can manually transfer, right? Can we try on Kerbal? We're going to have to figure out a way of trying it. In any event, the next problem would be, so what are we thinking? Put the grabbing unit on an arm? It's based on game settings. If allow crossfeed on all parts, then grab it crossfeeds. Otherwise, it will not. Ah. So maybe then that's it, Jay. Maybe it doesn't allow crossfeed unless you happen to have the game on a normal setting where it will. It's probably that. See, I don't agree, Volpadrak, because that's not crossfeed, is it? But who knows? Who knows? It's open for interpretation. Anyway, I don't have it. I'd have to unlock it for 160. If I take that, I'll only have 510 left. Then we couldn't get heavy rocketry if we needed it. See, if you attach that to... If you attach that to some kind of robotic arm so that you can move it, aren't you in the same problem? Like, it's not connected to the rest of the tanks. If you launch ships without docking ports that need rescuing, refueling, launching a refueling vehicle vessel with an advanced grabbing unit, and it can latch onto the stranded ship, and then it's considered docked to another ship and can transfer fuel to it. That's really, really interesting, because what does no crossfeed mean then? You thought crossfeed was the ability to share fuel between tanks in the same stages while actively using. Transfers would be different. Yeah, it looks like it's Shimada. My only question now then is, like, if we had it, how do we allow it to be movable in this build? So we get rid of the piston here, have a fixed wheelbase somehow, even though this thing somehow needs to fold in. Which I'm really not sure how we're going to do that. But then, you know, this Clampertron, if it was replaced with that docking thing, crossfeed should be automatic after. If that claw was, let's say you landed some kind of lander, and with the claw you grabbed onto the leg of the lander, would it still be able to transfer fuel in? The claw just needs to touch anywhere on the other vehicle. Wow. And it wouldn't try and, like, pick it up and break it. Fair enough. Well, if we do that, we don't need pistons anyway. Yeah, exactly. Just grab the leg. Well, we'll have to get it and hope that we don't need big rockets. Alright, that's actuators. That one, isn't it? Research. Done. What's that structural fuselage? Not that one. The one that opens, the doors open on it. Is that a science thing? And you can stack batteries inside. Remember? It's not, but I need 550 for large science. Is it a service pack? There you go. I was just wondering if we can tidy them up inside, but like that. It kind of doesn't look like we can, because the it basically takes 2.5 batteries, which is really annoying. Then you end up doing that with it. It kind of glitches it. you can hack it a bit like that, but then it just does that, look. Not a good look, is it? Right, where's this claw thing? Advanced grabbing unit. Oh my life. And of course it doesn't want to connect. Use the Alt key. There we go. That looks like it's going to do some damage. It's like one of those drills. You can try with the canopy. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? I'd like to get these batteries somewhere else, really. Although I suppose having a pointy nose is potentially useful. That'll only pinch a bit, yeah. Just a scratch. You think the batteries look cool? Hmm. Right, I need to get one of those structural. I want to try something. Where's the, let's see. Light duty rotor. Rotation servo. Yikes. That's a rotation servo. Then if we take a grid segment. Might be a bit too close. It's a little bit too close. Just need to space it out a bit more. If you go back to single wheels, I don't think it's going to be strong enough on single wheels. It was glitching out on double, but we'll have to see. We'll put it on the ground and see what it does. Let's get rid of that. Don't forget, we've somehow got to launch this thing, and I don't think we have an ability to... we don't have fairing that can go that wide. And I don't know if a single wheel is going to cope. I think we're just going to have to move it back in, aren't we? Put the wheel on the outside and then push it all back in a bit. It's still a bit wide. Potentially move it over there a bit, I guess. Make it fold again on the inside. I'm trying to keep, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep the weight. And the problem is the drills are not doing this. But if you imagine when this thing is upright, like the center mass, the wheels flow through the center mass of the rocket, but these drills don't really. Like they're kind of pulling the center mass off center. So it's not gonna, it's gonna take off and try and lean over. You can try and do an articulator down with those servos. Yeah, but underneath, relative to takeoff, the problem is, like I say, you want to keep it down the middle of the axis. The ideal axis line is center point. That if you go low or high, that translates to it being off center when it's vertical in a rocket. So I've not actually tried this actuator yet. Target angle. There you go. MacJeb can deal with it. Yeah. That's not even as low as the drill. I mean, the drills need to go higher, really. They're far too low. Those drills, they come out quite a long way. I didn't disable any music, no. I think these are going to have to move along. That should help the center of mass a bit as well. Okay. Still a bit low relative to that wheel. Doesn't leave a lot of room for error. The Space Goose, yeah. Trying to work out how to not have it stick out too much. The pistons don't work very well. The hinges definitely were bad. I'm hoping that rotation actuator thing is strong enough. But until I try it, I don't know. So if we just save that. Let's see what that comes out like. Okay, game.